Tommy Boyd on BBC Southern Counties Radio.
Well, a very good evening to you. This is your Tommy Boyd. He's thought he was... Alison's here as well. How are you?
Hello, I'm good.
That was a bit of a kerfuffle there, I think the word is.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I didn't realise that you didn't know.
Because I didn't come in on Thursday, so I didn't see the memo, so...
Yeah.
So you turned up at about, 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And, I was here. It was a bit awkward because I said hello, because I didn't expect there'd be somebody in the studio, so I thought it was a technician. So I said, everything all right? And he said, yeah, no, bless him. So, there we are.
What's he like?
Bob?
Yeah.
It's alright, a bit sort of knitwear and, hush puppies. You know. I think he's, based in Gloucester.
Right.
And we didn't get much of a chance to chat.
Is it going to be like that every week now then, did he say, or is it just...
I don't know. Have you heard anything?
Well, I just heard they were trying him out, but I don't know if they're trying him out every week, or if it was just a one-off today.
Yeah, and I mean the stuff about the sparrows, yeah, we care about sparrows.
Did you hear the stuff he was saying about, Baghdad?
Yes. I decided we wouldn't go there.
No.
Did you?
I think, yeah.
Well, thanks for raising it.
Well,
I thought it was a bit near the knuckle. I mean, he doesn't say that we should... Obviously, he didn't say that we should drop a nuclear bomb on
and he said...
Fallujah.
No, and he said
But he did kind of say...
But he said that it would have to be well thought out.
If I
There'd
said...
be uproar.
Well, there's the usual suspects who would use it, as a reason to try and get me fired.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Again.
we get into trouble if we talk about men and fish and boats.
Well, apparently, were you telling me that somebody, can we say this, that somebody had a concern about you saying something on air last week which you just didn't say?
No, I just didn't say.
You didn't go near it?
No, somebody made a complaint.
Yes.
About me talking about female menstruation, and I didn't.
And we didn't come anywhere near the conversation.
No, so I don't know what they're listening to.
Oh well, from now until 1 o'clock in the morning, it was 9 in the evening until 1 o'clock, but now, thanks to the welcome arrival of, shut up. He's probably listening in the car. The welcome arrival of Bob Staunton, we now begin at 10. Through until 1. Bob plays music and has some exciting quizzes. And
some unusual thoughts.
Yes.
On world politics.
Yes. Hello to Tommy Boy from Italy. We're sitting here laughing and adoring listening tonight on the World Wide Web. Have you tried olive juice? This is to do with talking about drinking diluted urine last week. Mally and Grula have emailed, have you tried olive juice? If you can't stomach that, don't drink urine. Always try it with some sort of juice. We recommend cranberry and urine.
Oh dear, cranberry is very good for you though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In what way?
Well, all of that sort of urinary tract business.
Yeah.
Cranberry is the way to go.
I feel vaguely, besmirched.
I thought you did a bit.
Yeah, well, a little bit.
But I don't
just think it's rude. Well, I think he's rude. It's rude. I think what he did was rude, and I think what he said on air was a bit rude, and I don't like rude people, as you know, because I'm very polite. And there's been a couple of texts...
Yes.
...which have upset you.
Yeah, I'm not happy. Perhaps you'd like to read it from your screen, the one in question.
OK, it just says, are you both in favour of abortion? Are you abortionists?
Now, let's get this straight.
Go on.
This isn't about whether I am pro or anti-abortion. All that happened was I mentioned that Channel 4 televised an abortion.
Yep.
I didn't give an opinion.
Yep.
I didn't say what my views were concerning it. I just mentioned the word.
Dare I say fish and boat?
Oh, God. Not the mood I'm in tonight. That person's wound me up, and now you're going to tell me someone's going to wind me up even more with a fish and a boat.
I think you'll like this. Do you remember the lady who said last week that she wanted the address from us for the Broadcasting Complaints Committee?
Oh, which one?
Because she said that I had advocated drinking urine and there were youngsters listening.
Yeah.
Which, of course, I hadn't, but anyway. Well, you know I said it takes about 6 weeks to come round?
Yeah.
Well, who has been the most persistent and vociferous campaigner against this type of radio on BBC Southern Counties Radio? And I'll give you a clue, it's Mary.
Mary. Mary and her boat.
Mary's emailed, and she said, I would just like to say that what Bob Staunton had to say about nuclear missiles was very insensitive. Women and children would be killed. Nuclear weapons are responsible for more deaths today than murders. Now don't, because she's trying. So just let that one go.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd hear myself say this, but thank God Tommy Boyd is back.
I never thought I'd ever hear her say it either. Good on you, Mary.
Instead of that George Bush sounder-like pillock. People like him should not be allowed near a wireless. The BBC should be disgusted. So she's got now she's on my side, and she wants Bob Staunton sacked now.
Bob's not listening. It was his first night.
Well, he did say that he thought that he wondered whether...
yeah, he did sort of, yeah. It's an outrageous comment.
Yes, we have had an hour chopped off to the sanctimonious, unctuous, oily, oleaginous Bob Staunton. There we are, I've said
I'm really glad that you weren't going to get into a slanging match with a fellow broadcaster.
I didn't like him when he pottery. He potters. He's a man who potters.
Tommy.
He potters in his knitwear and his hush puppies, and you can tell that he smokes a pipe, and he potters everywhere. And he's got an old Rover, which has probably got those leather seats which are really shiny and slightly cracked, and he's got one of those sort of tortoiseshell dashboards, and he's got one of those really thin steering wheels, and he probably potters along the A something or other, tiresome tune like Edelweiss or something like that.
Come on now.
And he mutters about sparrows, and he mutters about bin liners, and then he mutters that has our government thought about deploying nuclear weapons in Iraq to back the troops up? It's a ludicrous thing to say, and it makes me really angry. And I think it's really cross that there are people like that who are allowed the airwaves, because it's that kind of insidious, creeping, sort of philosophical fascism is what I'd call it. I'm not calling him a Nazi, I'm saying it's philosophical fascism. To have that sort of creeping, unkindness bubbling away, and you kind of get away with it because you're nice to animals, and you're a human being like the rest of us, and bin liners annoy you. Bin liners probably would have annoyed most of the Nazi party, and they probably like sparrows.
Tommy, I think we need to play a song now.
Oh yeah. Okay. Hi Tommy, you said this is Hayley. Hi Tommy, you said last week that you have tasted your own urine. Yes. Why not? Just try it. Diluted. Give it a sip. See what it does. Didn't make me feel better. Definitely didn't make me feel worse. That's all. Why not? Why not try? If you know there are people who do this sort of thing on a regular basis and claim that it has beneficial side effects, why shouldn't you? However, Hayley then says, would you drink someone else's? I don't think I would, because that's kind of a, do or dare thing, isn't it? And what about live on air? No, I don't think so. But Hayley, thank you for your text, for your email there, and thanks to everybody who is texting the show. Lynn in Horndean says, I want Tommy Boyd on from 9 p.m, please. Is there a petition going? I am seriously thinking about making a phone call on Monday to the powers that be and say, look, what's all this about? Now, I understand our next caller is Bob. Is that right? Hello, Bob?
Hello there.
How are you?
How are you?
How are you? I'm very well.
I'm great, thanks.
You're great.
The reason I called, I hope you don't mind, driving home with the radio on, thought I heard yourself having a bit of a go at yours truly.
No, I don't think so.
Well, it sounded a bit like it to me.
Which bit?
Beg your pardon?
Which bit it sounded like me having a go at yours truly?
Well, yours truly is yourself, and obviously you weren't having a go at yourself. The phrase is used by speakers as a polite alternative to me or myself.
Well, what's impolite about me?
Well, pretty much everything from what my listeners tell me.
Now, look, Bob, if you mean me, say me. I can't be doing with these little sort of artificial linguistic affectations. Yours truly is pompous and it's outdated. It's one of those annoying little phrases that stand out as meaning, hey, look at me, I'm a bit of a character. And yes, I was tempted to correct on air one piece of absolute nonsense that you came out with.
Well, what is that then?
Well, do you not know? I mean, can you not guess?
Tell me.
Well, what do you think? You bit about the poor old sparrows?
Sparrows are under threat.
I don't care.
Charming.
The bit about bin liners being a nightmare.
They are the bane of my life.
Well, there you go again. What in God's name is a bane?
It's something you find a nightmare. Didn't you get any kind of education at all in that Borstal?
Bob, I'm going to have to get back to you, mate. I'm flummoxed and What's the matter with the man?
Oh, dear.
Are you... I mean... Am I in trouble?
No, but, I just think that perhaps, the conversation that you and Bob need to have isn't one to be had on air.
You're probably right.
Tommy Boyd on BBC Suffolk Counties
Mary in
Radio.
Winchester has come back and said, I would like to voice my support to Alison over the misinterpretation on the radio. See, Mary's right behind everybody now.
Yeah.
That's a turnaround, isn't it? You did not voice an opinion on abortion, nor did I ever say that a man can feed off a boat. Oh, she's back to boats.
Oh, dear.
Oh, mares. Let the boat go, mate. Perhaps now the shoe is on the other foot, you understand how I felt having my words mocked and revised by Tommy Boyd when it is not what I said. I'm going to go back to the boat thing for once.
No, I don't want to go back to the boat thing. Please.
I have to go back to the boat thing.
I'm not in the mood for it tonight.
What's wisdom?
We'll save it for next week.
Somebody who's listening in Germany, Gary Thompson, listening via the internet at home in Germany. Another top-drawer show there, fantastic. Bob Staunton, the thinking man's non-thinking man. I remember reading an interview with Rolf Harris a few years ago. Bob Staunton looks a bit like Rolf Harris. Did I say that?
You did say that earlier.
When he described the years he'd spent drinking his own urine, he expounded the health merits of it to do with nutrients, I think. Gives the whole new meaning to the question, can you see what it is yet? And Waleed in Manchester has emailed, regarding people not listening and the Marys of this world, I think that's exactly why democracy is a horrible thing. Can you believe that those people are actually allowed to run the country by voting? Ryan Marshall has emailed from Scunthorpe. Hi, just found you on the internet tonight. Very glad to hear you. Not sure I understand, but you mentioned a fish.
No!
And a boat, but not how it goes. The saying goes, give a man a fish and he can feed himself for a day, but give him the knowledge to fish and he can feed for his lifetime. I hope that helps. Ryan, it does. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Ryan.
Perhaps Bob Staunton, Kitty, has emailed, should drink his urine too. It sounds like he's
Bob's getting a hard
taking
time.
it anywhere. I don't care. I don't like the man.
Okay, right.
And I can say that.
Will you...
And I can say that.
Okay.
Because there are presenters on this radio station that are saying they're not going to listen to me. So, if they can do that...
There are not.
There are. I heard them. I've heard them. To answer a question from this evening, what is wisdom? I can tell you. He's a small English comedian who recently retired from show business. Have I got the wrong end of the stick here? Yes, I think you very possibly have, quite comfortably, Gary. But then again, wisdom is something that an awful lot of us are a little bit frightened of because of the change that it might make to our lives if we discovered a piece of wisdom and then realised that we had to act on it. Email message has come in from our Italian listeners. We were promised last week that Tommy Boyd would drink urine live on the radio. I think you should go through with it live on air. Definitely use cranberry, which is also a remedy for cystitis. Is it really? We agree with Alison about the abortions over here. 2 young people get caught up and no government support. Okay, well, thank you very much indeed for that. Mali and Grula, listening in Tuscany. Although we took lots of calls, Alison tells me, just before I came on air, from people saying, where's Tommy Boyd? We can't stand this Bob Staunton bloke any longer. And quite a few calls from people saying, ha-ha, good, they finally listened to me and got rid of that horrible little man.
Oh, hang on a minute, Tommy, I'm sorry about this.
No, it's all right. I'll read out an email whilst you're...
Okay.
Alison, I've just got this email to read from Mrs. Margaret Richardson, who has emailed her. Spelling is appalling. She says, I am shocked by tonight's radio, and I don't know what is the worst. Mr. Staunton's nuclear weapons solution, Tommy Boyd's hypocrisy, spelled H-I-P, or the lady assistant's graphic descriptions on abortion.
What graphic description?
You see, did you hear Dave?
What graphic description? All I said was Channel 4 televised abortion. It was one sentence. It was in no way graphic. It wasn't a description of abortion. Why don't people listen?
You're dead meat. You'll be out of a job on Monday because they'll be writing it.
Alison's graphic description of abortion.
Alison Ferns described the sickening moments at which...
I just didn't.
It's all going boof, boof, boof in their brain, and so they blame you. You see?
I'm speechless and I'm leaving the studio. I'm going to...
Well, I'm speechless because Dave came on and he said that I called old age pensioners spongers. Which is, you know...
Oh,
Only in the bath, Dave. Somebody's complained that I ought to be got off the air because do we? Complainers always say we. They never say me or I. They always say we. Do we have to put up with bad language on the radio? This is the first and last time I will be switching you on and get that man off the air from a the. I expect that text message was going to end. Oh, it does. Very cross lady. I don't know if I can read it out entirely. It says, Tommy, you are a total W asterisk 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 ER. Get the hell out of SCR. You got the sack from TalkSport and you are short on intellect to carry a short slot on our station. It's one of the little collection of 100 or so slightly sad people who think they own the radio station. How many people want me fired, and how many people think that all radio should be like this? Because it's getting a bit dichotomised.
It is, yeah.
Polarised.
Yeah.
Tommy and Alison, I'm starting to wonder if two versions of this show are being broadcast. People seem to be hearing all kinds of things that I'm not hearing.
Yeah, you and me both. I think there might be two different broadcasts going out.
I don't recall you saying anything about pensions being sponges. And I haven't.
No.
Or anything that would upset pro-lifers. And again,
No.
we haven't. Could do.
Yeah, but haven't.
No. And Harold Jones has emailed to say, all I've heard is rubbish about drinking P apostrophe S and the lady banging on about aborting babies. What is this
Oh,
show
no,
about?
don't. You're making that up.
No, there it is. You want to read it? That's what it's like. That's what they're like. Some are like. But I like them like that.
But I haven't been on about that.
I know you haven't, mate, but
it
that doesn't
was
stop
one
them.
sentence.
They want to believe that you're evil and awful. This small percentage, this 0.003%, need you to be awful, or need to believe you're awful, because then it gives them some kind of crusade, all right? And the rest of the listeners quite like that, because then it means there's going to be a fight. And they prefer that to, you know, cheesy chat. Dave has called. He's on line 1. And, Dave, welcome to the programme. What can I do for you?
Well, I want to talk to you. I think you're outrageous.
Thank you.
And your views. I listened to you a couple of weeks ago. You were talking about old age pensions and how they take everything the state can give them. And, you know, somewhere along the line, I was listening to you tonight as well, because I was home early tonight. But how old are you, sir?
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, because...
I mean, are you somebody who thinks that if you're 94, you're necessarily better than somebody who's 92?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
What are you? Well, what's it got to do with anything?
I'm saying you're...
I go up to you at a party, they say, what do you do? It doesn't matter. I usually say...
does.
No, it doesn't. I usually say, how's your dad?
Because your views of people your views of the younger people and the older people are totally different. Now, I mean, I can remember, it was about 1944, I think, when people like you would have been shot if you'd have been in Germany.
No, hanged. Hanged.
No, you'd have been shot if you were in Germany.
No, hanged.
Well, they were hanged.
Hanged.
Because you have views that were totally different to everybody else. Now, in this country, we put up with people like you, and I mean, some of your ideas are so ludicrous.
Have you ever heard of William Joyce?
Yes.
Who was he?
He was Lord Haw.
What did you do to him?
They hanged him at the end.
For his radio views?
Yeah.
How about that?
Well,
Is that all right by you? You hang the DJ because you don't like what he's saying?
He was a traitor.
He didn't break the law. He was Irish.
did.
He was Irish.
Well...
The Irish were neutral.
They weren't at that particular time, my sir.
They certainly were.
Oh, no, certainly they weren't.
What, the Irish weren't neutral?
No,
during the Second
because
World War?
I went into an Irish port and refueled when I was in the Navy.
When did the Irish declare war on anybody?
They never declared war on anybody.
Well, you give me another definition of neutral, then.
They suffered the fact that the Germans and the British and the Americans went in and refueled in their ports.
They were neutral during the war.
Load of beg your pardon. They were allegedly neutral.
Dave, they were neutral.
They were allegedly neutral, sir.
And Joyce was an Irishman.
Yes, they were allegedly
So how was he being a traitor?
Because, like many of the Irish people at that particular time, they...
And he was hanged for his views.
Well, so should you be sometimes.
Which views are those?
Well, a fortnight ago, I listened to you talking about old age pensioners that were grabbing anything they could get through Social Security and things like that. About a fortnight, 3 weeks ago. I thought to myself, you, lad, don't know a great deal about anything, do you? Only you're self-opinionated, what you think.
I'll tell you what, Dave. If I ever found myself on an identity parade, and you were the guy coming along picking people out, I'd be shaking in my boots.
I should bloody think so, too.
Because you're mixing me up with somebody else.
I'm not. Because, no, I just asked you how old you were. You refused to give me that information.
What do you mean I refused to give you that information? I just asked you what you wanted to know for, and you couldn't answer the question.
Well, I didn't.
What do you want to know for?
Because your age group has a different view on life than what my age group has.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 78.
Ah, well, you're a whippersnapper.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
I'm 82.
You lie like a cheap stoker.
I'm 82. So you just put that in your pipe and smoke it, you whippersnapper. You're wet behind the ears and you're a know-nothing. When you've lived as long as me, you get to know somebody.
Where did you serve?
When you've lived as long as me,
Where did you serve in the forces?
When you've lived as long as me.
Right, I might not have lived as long as you.
When you've lived as long as me, you get to know somebody who is confused.
No, I'm not confused.
I didn't say you were, did I? I said you get to know somebody who is confused.
Where did you serve in the forces?
You get to know somebody who can't work out quite who they're listening to on the radio.
Well, I listen to Pratt most of the time.
But still feel sufficiently empowered in their ignorance and confusion to pitch up and accuse somebody of doing something they haven't done.
Right.
That's what you're doing. Now, I'm going to put up a bond for you. I'm going to put up a bond for you now, and I want you to listen to this very carefully, right? I'm going to put up £1,000 of my own money against £1 of your money if you are able to show something which I know you're not able to show, which is that I've accused old age pensioners of scrounging off the state.
We did about a fortnight ago.
Then in that case, you've got the easiest £1,000 you'll ever earn. Now, I need you to do that for me, and I know that you won't because you can't.
Well, I'll tell you what.
All you have to do is prove it.
You say you...
And you won't be able to prove it because A, I never said it, and B, I don't believe it.
Yes, you did.
I don't believe it.
You did.
I didn't. It's as simple as that. When?
Because you
now you see the problem is it's what you thought you heard.
You're talking about pension credits and things like that.
I wasn't. I've never raised the topic of pension bloody credits. I don't even know what they are.
You lie like a chief stoker.
Now you're calling me a liar. We got your phone number. You're accusing me. If only you were worth something, I could take you to the cleaners twice over.
I know you could.
Because you're lying.
Give me a little minute to talk to you instead of you shouting down my ear all the time.
Well, when you consider you're accusing me of something heinous which is untrue, palpably untrue, deeply untrue, disturbingly untrue, when I think that people like you are able to vote, when you're equally able to accuse somebody of something heinous that they wouldn't dream of saying, A, because it's not a topic I talk about because it's boring. It's boring, mate, pension credits. I don't talk about that. I talk about life, humanity, and what it is to be a full human being on this show. I do not discuss obscure topics like pension credits. That's for the other journalists. That's for the proper journalists. That's for the people who know how to do interviews. I don't. What I do know is that you are confused.
I'm not confused. Now,
do you want £1,000 then, mate?
You're saying...
Do you want £1,000? It will be the easiest £1,000 you've ever earned.
Well, if you get somebody to verify what I'm saying...
No, you do it. You do it.
Well, I'm going to phone out every person that listened to you.
No, we've got tapes, but I'm not going to get them out for you because I'm not going to listen through all my shit. Dave, I don't even know what a pension credit is.
Hang on a slack a minute. You're shouting down my ear all the time.
Yeah, that's because you're obscene.
I'm not obscene.
It's obscene. It's absurd and obscene to accuse somebody of doing something that they haven't done. That's why there are so many sad, terrified people in this world. So many terrified children are thinking that a teacher is going to get them for something and they don't know what it is they've done wrong. It's why there are so many neurotic people. It's why there are so many psychopaths.
Look, Chief, don't shout at me.
Ark at you and you think it's funny.
Don't shout at me. I've been
This is sick. This is sick.
been gunnery instructors in the Navy. Shout at me. You don't do anything.
Are you a father?
I'm a father of two sons, yes.
Are you?
Yeah. Don't shout at me, because I've been used to gunnery instructors in the Navy shout at me. And they frighten me more than ever you do, even now, if I think about them.
Well, I've got a lot to think about.
Now, you talk to me, you're 82 years old.
Well, I'm not.
No, I guess you weren't.
How old do you think I am?
I should say you're about 40.
Yeah, so you're very kind. But you didn't mean to be.
No.
No.
But see, there is a difference.
Supposing you were wrong and you had got me mixed up with somebody else, which you have, would you apologise?
I would apologise if I thought I got you mixed up. Yes, I will apologise, yeah.
Is it something that you generally do?
Yes, I do. I'm not one of these people that hold grudges or something. If I thought I got you wrong, I'll apologise. If you think I've got you wrong, I will apologise. But I do think that
See, I've come across people like you before.
Your attitude...
If I may finish, I've come across people like you before who listen to the radio and you don't know whether you're listening to the BBC or some commercial radio station. Now, let me finish. Let me finish. It's because you don't listen very well. Let me finish. It's not an insult. Not an insult. It's not an insult. When I started in television, I worked on a programme called Magpie.
Oh, Christ almighty, that was years ago.
There was just keep listening and stop thinking you've got to say something halfway through every sentence, mate. And there was a sister programme on the BBC called Blue Peter. Now, I did the one on ITV called Magpie, and as soon as I started appearing on television, people kept coming up to me, and do you know what they asked me? Most often.
No, I wouldn't have a clue.
No.
Because of that particular
No, just say no, mate. Just say no. No, just say no.
Probably out of the Far East.
We're not interested. I'm telling you something that's got some merit. And the fact that you are out in the Far East does, I must admit, have a certain amount of merit, but not in the way that you might think. Now, what they would come up to me and say is it really your dog? Now, do I have to explain why?
Yeah, you do have to me, because I've never even seen those programmes.
No. Well, the thing was, the dogs were with the other lot on the BBC. We didn't have any dogs. But what it was that people muddled up. They have the radio on, or the TV on, and they kind of think it's all one effort. So they hear somebody say something, and they think it must be that bloke. And that's harmless enough. But there are people like you, Dave, who try to get people fired on the basis of things that they haven't said and don't think. It's because they actually quite like the idea of causing somebody else some discomfort.
No, that's a load of... I beg your pardon.
No, you nearly said bollocks, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to say balls, actually.
Well, whatever. Well, I don't care. It's 12 o'clock at night and we'll talk the way people want to talk. However, I have to say that if I was to shoot my load off at you for what you are...
We've done it so far.
I haven't come close, mate, because I am aware of the sensibilities of most of the intelligent people who are listening.
You're trying to run me down, Chief.
I'll tell you what. What is it? What is it?
Are you intelligent as you?
You're not. What's the best? All right, let's try it, shall we?
You're talking balls now.
What's the best book you've ever read? Go on.
I think what's the best book I've ever read?
Yeah.
Stalin's book. What was it? I can't remember the name of it now. I've read.
That good, was it?
Yeah.
What else? Can you think of a book that you've read that you can remember the name of? Can you think of a book that you've read that you can remember the name of?
Oh, well, at school we had to read a lot of books. I'm a lot older than you, Chief.
Yeah, well, that doesn't stop you reading books. I'd like to know if there's... Can you name a book?
Oh, I'll tell you what, quite frankly, no, I can't.
You can't name a bloody book?
No, yeah, well, I can name...
You can't name a book, but you're prepared to pitch up at the radio and tell me that I said disgusting things about old people.
You won't get through to me by shouting at me, Chief.
No, I'm not trying to get through to you.
You're trying to confuse me or whatever you're doing.
Well, you weren't confused in the first place.
I was GIs in the Navy, and you're nothing compared to them.
You said that 3 times.
Yeah, I know. I know you won't get through your thick head, will it?
I reckon that they got to you.
No, they didn't get through to me.
And shall I tell you,
I'll tell you what,
the effect
they
was
told
that it had on
me
you?
to listen to people like you and bloody ignore you.
What happened was this. You were bullied in the Navy.
I never was bullied in the Navy. In those days, there was no such thing as bullying in 1944, son.
And it made
there was
you...
nothing such as bullying. It was life.
And it made you angry.
Didn't make me bloody angry at all. It was life, son.
And it made you dangerous.
Dangerous what? What?
Dangerous to innocent people.
Oh, dear, oh dear. You must be out of your tiny little mind.
Well, just remember this.
There must be 3 million people in England now who served in the services 39 to 44. And I mean, every one of them is dangerous to innocent people.
No, you.
They've lived and seen people killed alongside them. You've never lived, my lad.
Let's just take this.
You've never lived, my lad.
Let's just take what you've said and deconstruct it if you care to.
Go on.
I've said that the anger...
There's no bloody anger.
Look, it's not a conversation unless you let the other person finish.
Well, you won't let me finish. Go on, say what you got to say then.
Right. And you have to listen and then respond to it as if you were a complete human being.
Yeah.
Which all of us, myself included, are most of the time. But all of us, yourself definitely included, sometimes are not. Now then, you referred to the people who shouted at you in the Navy so much that one is entitled to believe that it might be something that was a significant relationship in your life. And you're angry. And we all get angry.
Where do you get that from?
I'm a psychiatrist.
Where do you get that from?
You see, what I'm trying to find out is the reason why it's your dearest hope that I have been unpleasant in a way which I wasn't.
Well, I'll tell you what now, Chief. Have you ever been on board ship?
Just make your point.
Have you ever been on board a ship?
No, I'm not going to play it 20 questions. Make your point.
No, just tell me, have you ever been on board a ship?
A ship.
A ship. A ferry across to France or something like that.
I've been on HMS Phoenix.
Have you?
Yeah.
And do you know the watertight doors on HMS Phoenix?
Only too well.
You know? Now, what if HMS Phoenix got torpedoed or damaged forward? What was
well, HMS Phoenix isn't an ocean-going ship.
No. But if it was a...
Do you know what HMS Phoenix is?
Well, no, I don't. I can't.
Oh,
it's probably a bloody...
So are we actually saying that I know more about Her Majesty's Navy than you do?
No, because you're talking about...
Well, you don't know what HMS Phoenix is?
Well, it's probably somewhere down at Pompey or a bloody Wren's doing.
Right, well, you're about to tell me what it's like to be below decks when a ship is holed, and you don't know what HMS Phoenix is?
Oh, hang on the slack now. It's that, what's name down at Pompey, isn't it?
Which is a what? Which is what?
It's a training thing.
Which does what?
It's firefighting and firefighting and damage control.
Would you like me to tell you?
Go on.
Have you ever been on HMS Phoenix?
No, I haven't, because I was a carrier man.
What's that?
I was on board carriers.
You were on board an aircraft carrier?
All my service in the Navy.
Right. But you don't know what HMS Phoenix is?
Well, I think it's the firefighting and
were you ever sunk?
No, I'd never bloody sunk.
Do you know what it's like to be sunk?
Do you?
Yeah. Because I've been on HMS Phoenix.
Because you've been on HMS Phoenix where they flood it.
Yeah.
Go on.
Have you?
Tell me. No. But I've done the same sort of thing on board ship.
Yeah, it's not the same as Phoenix. Your experience is not as real as mine.
Well, mine was on board ship in the middle of the bloody sea.
Do you know how many people have done Phoenix twice?
I wouldn't know.
One. One man. There's only one man who's done Phoenix twice. Me.
And it's you. And what would you do it for? Because you were...
No, I did it because we had to do it twice because it was being filmed for a TV programme. And
a TV programme.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm just saying to you...
So I've been sunk twice and you haven't been sunk at all?
No, but I'm just saying to you that...
And in any case, it's entirely irrelevant because the point of this conversation is this, okay?
You're so...
you
outrageous in your statements.
No, I'm not going to get through to you, but we've got your phone number, and what I'm going to consider is whether or not I could sue you for libel.
Get stuffed. I mean, let's face it. We're talking now about your statements and how outrageous you are, and you can listen to Southern Counties Radio in the morning, or any morning, and somebody says...
Dave, I've got to go, because there's quite a lot of people who want to talk to me. I'm very sad that you are so confused.
I'm not confused.
Yes, you are. Oh, dear. You know, when you were talking to somebody like that, particularly if you're the person that they've got this completely ludicrous, mistaken view of it, you can hardly believe that you're being... singled out as having said some things that you haven't said. It quite frightens you because you know that in all sorts of other areas of life there are people being mistaken for other people, or people are acting in such a way that there is a kind of an ambiguity about their actions, and those with malice aforethought decide to exploit the ambiguity of what they've done or said so that they can persecute them. And you kind of hope that if you can get somebody in a conversation, you can somehow demonstrate, using your obviously superior commands, that they might have got it wrong. And then it just becomes, something that you can't let go. You become quite obsessed with it. I mean, the man could not see that I hadn't said any of the things. I had no idea what he was talking about. He's clearly mistaken me for some other pundit, probably on a commercial radio station which broadcasts access radio not very well these days, which is on around about the same time as this show, quite possibly. I don't know if that's the case. Maybe. Or it might have been another different night of the week, or maybe he dreamt it. But it makes me mostly cross, but slightly sad.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.